It is my final streaming day of August, everyone, and that means it's time to say goodbye to my anniversary festivities. We'll talk a little bit about how awesome this month has been, as well as a discussion about the difficulty level of Armored Core 6 and how a lot of people have apparently been rage quitting it. Last but not least, we've got an update on PSN pricing, all this and more on today's Level 1 podcast. Alrighty, so indeed, today is my final streaming day of August. It is August 30th, 2023. I'm DSP, and I welcome you here to the show. What an awesome month this was. As I told you guys, this year, the summertime, I would say, was the complete opposite of what I'm used to. Usually in the summertime, there is such a lack of games. There's such a lack of interesting stuff going on that it's a time for me to try to figure out what you guys would like to see during this downtime. We're usually kind of like scraping the bottom of the barrel when it comes to leftover releases I didn't play. A lot of the times we go back and we're playing old school games. Last year, I remember, we inadvertently, did what we called the Summer of Retro 2.0 because there just wasn't anything going on. And I just so happened that I just kept playing a bunch of retro games, the Castlevania Collection, among other things. This year, we had so much going on this summer that it flew by like that. Like, it seems like it's still spring, except for the ridiculously hot weather that we had here in Washington State. But outside of that, man, it has been a very exciting summer. The launch and release and success of Street Fighter 6, multiple RPG style releases like Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, Diablo 4, Final Fantasy 16, me doing a special anniversary month all August, including an awesome tier maker countdown of the best games of the last 12 years, a special marathon that we just did reminiscing about the past, and talking not only about my history, but watching back some of the funniest clips of things I've ever done, and of course, the cool playthroughs we did this month, including Grand Theft Auto 5, the anniversary run for the 10-year anniversary of the game, as well as my second ever playthrough of Chrono Trigger. So with all of those things going on, man, the summer passed by in the blink of an eye. I can't believe we're about to start September. The fall gaming season is upon us already. So thank you all for a great summer. It really was a special time for me that I will definitely remember. And I hope that you guys will, continue to join me now that the summer's over into the fall months. And you're going to see that the content around here is going to change. Okay, first of all, we have to say goodbye to these awesome reminiscing pieces of nostalgia back here. The t-shirts from my various eras of being a creator back in the day when I was my original Dark Side Phil persona. This is the old Cafe Press t-shirt that you can't get anymore. Then you had the Skull King persona from when I first became a streamer around 6 years ago. And then one of the more modernized graffiti designs that I actually had over on Teespring before that all got shut down. Over here we have the classic Stein, which used to be part of my content all the time in vlogging and the like. So we had a lot of cool throwback things here as part of our setup for the month. And I really did enjoy gaming with you this month. It was a special one, going back and re-experiencing GTA 5 only for the second time, and of course Chrono Trigger, one of my favorite RPGs of all time, being able to go back with that. And of course, getting back into fighting games the way I have is nostalgic for me, because that's something I used to do back in the day. It's something that I did at the very beginning of my YouTube career with Street Fighter 4. and to be able to re-jump or go back to that level of trying to learn and compete and basically not suck at fighting games has been quite the journey for me and quite entertaining. I hope for you as much as it's been for me, because I really enjoyed it. So thank you all for an awesome month of reminiscing about the past. But now it is time to move forward to the future. By the way, today is August 30th. I'm not here tomorrow. So FYI, before we even get into anything too important of topics, we got a lot of topics to talk about today. I want to talk about Armored Core 6. I want to talk about this PSN fiasco going on, which everyone is shocked that this is happening. We'll talk all about that today. But I just want to say today's the last day of the month. And since I'm not here tomorrow, when I come back on Friday for the premiere of Starfield, it's September 1st, today would be a great day to support my content. Last chance, full streaming day, by the way. I'm doing 2 full gameplay streams today. If you wanted to give the summertime a nice send-off, all right, today would be the day to support in some way, whether that would be super chat, super sticker, membership, gifted membership for the community, or a tip. Any of those things would help a ton. And in particular, all right, today, with gifted memberships, a lot of people would appreciate that. Why? Because with this month coming up, just think of all the great games we're going to be playing in the next 30 days. Starfield on Friday, Lies of P coming up in the middle of the month, Mortal Kombat 1 in the middle of the month. If people want it, when I complete Chrono Trigger, I'm willing to play Sea of Stars that just came out like yesterday or the day before. So there's a lot of awesome new games in the lineup just in the next few weeks. And if people are members, they'll have access to all of my emotes. They won't have to abide by the slow mode rules of the chat when they're here on a live stream. So there's so many benefits. So I would say today would be an absolutely great day to either become a member or give some memberships to the community if you were thinking of doing that. Really great time to do it. If you wait till Friday, well, it'll still help. But just so you guys know the way it works on YouTube, basically everything that comes in within 1 month, you kind of get paid for the middle of next month. So for example, any support I get today will actually count, and I'll get it at some point in September. But anything I get on Friday, I won't get till October. You see? So it would help today if you did support. Just throwing that out there. All right? Okay. So let's get into the meat of it. First of all, an update on my health. It still sucks. In fact, so here's what happened yesterday. I hurt my neck when I was showering in the morning. Okay? And I had a nerve pinch, and it was very sharp shooting pain from my neck where I pinched the nerve all the way through my shoulder down into my actual arm up to about here. And it hurt really bad. And I was nervous because I didn't know how it was going to affect my gameplay or anything for the day. Happy to say it really didn't, because I'm very good at distracting myself from pain. As I explained yesterday, I used to have a debilitating back injury in my lower back that got so bad that it was just ongoing pain even in my sleep. So basically I found ways to kind of zone out and tune out from the pain. And what I've found is that when I pick up this controller and I actually start playing a video game and I pay attention to it, I really don't pay attention to the pain anymore. Yesterday I'm playing Armored Core 6 and I'm thinking, man, this game's tough. It might distract me. I kind of forgot about it, which was great. But I have some bad news. So here's the good news is, over the course of yesterday, it actually was getting better. By the end of last night when I had played Chrono Trigger, my neck actually didn't feel so bad. And actually, I was like, you know what? I'm going to have a drink before I go to sleep. So I had some tequila with some like V8 mixer drink. It's like a V8 low-calorie fruit drink. And I mixed it in with some tequila and I had a drink. Like, this will good. It'll loosen me up, numb me up. I'll be able to go to sleep and have no problems here with this neck pain tonight. So I do this. And I wake up this morning, okay? And here's the thing. When I go to sleep, typically when I fall asleep on my back, just like this, leaning back onto my pillows. I just fall asleep with nice full neck support. However, I tend to be someone who shifts in their sleep. And I've woken up in many different positions over the years. I end up waking up in a side sleeper's position on my right-hand side with my neck crinked up at an angle. And I start to move, and I'm like, oh, no. Basically, I'm not even kidding you, the pain got worse. Because I must have moved to this position in my sleep, And now I start moving, and I've got, like, every time I'm moving my neck, it's like pain, pain, pain. Like, oh my God. This fucking sucks. What did I do? Right? So, yeah, it blows. What can you do? It's a nerve pinch. It's bad, you know, and I'm doing my best. I mean, I'm hoping once again today playing the games will distract me from it. But every moment that I'm here, not focused on, like, other things, it hurts. And there's not much I can do. I just got to wait for this to go away. It might take a week. So I've had these before. It's not something new. It's just very annoying when it happens. And when you get one this bad, you worry, will it affect me, you know? I hope not. I hope that we have a smooth, full day of gaming today. And that it's not affected, really. But we'll see. You know, honestly, I don't think GTA is the concern. I think Street Fighter tonight is the concern. When I play Street Fighter on the late stream, especially because I've already had troubles in Street Fighter 6 at the diamond level, with you know, online competition, and now I'm gonna be trying to do this with neck pain shooting up and down my neck. So we'll see what happens, but hoping for the best. Again, I popped an Advil this morning. Actually, it wasn't really me. It was my wife. She convinced me. She basically said, you know, take a pill because you're gonna need it. You look so bad this morning. I was like, all right, well, you know, we'll do it. So hopefully it starts to feel better. You know, it's not a big deal right now. Right now I don't feel it, and then if I move a little bit, like, oh God, there it is, right there. So it is what it is. Okay. Just to forewarn you, I hope I don't exacerbate it somehow during my streams today. And being that tomorrow is my day off, you know, hopefully I'll be able to rest it a little more. Although I do have to run and do my errands like grocery shopping and stuff like that tomorrow. Hopefully I don't, you know, injure it any further. Hopefully I get a better night's sleep tonight and it doesn't hurt it worse. You know what I mean? We'll see. Anyway, let's talk about the streams yesterday, how they went. This is going to lead us into our first topic about Armored Core 6. And then later on, when we get to the game news segment, we're going to talk about PlayStation Network price increases and how the internet is going crazy about this right now because it was not exactly what you would expect. Let's just put it that way. Okay? Okay, so yesterday's streams, how did they go? Well, first of all, on the first stream, it was my second ever session of Armored Core 6. Now, we had already talked about this a few days ago, that when I played Armored Core 6 on Friday as a premiere stream, I actually enjoyed it. Did I have some difficulty with the first boss? Yes, I did, because I, on the fly, had to learn some gameplay mechanics on how to dodge and move and maneuver, and once I did that, I was able to adjust, and I was able to beat the boss. It took, you know, a few tries, maybe like a half an hour of trying this boss, but I beat him. Like, all right, for a FromSoft game, that's not so bad. That's kind of what I'm used to for FromSoft. It's not any shocking twist that the boss would be difficult and you have to learn gameplay mechanics on the fly or anything like that, right? So then, continuing on, I started customizing my mech, changing the colors, changing the build, and I did many different missions, and I was having a good time. There was actually a boss that I think would have been tough if I didn't have a certain weapon, but I kind of lucked out into having the correct weapon. And I beat the boss, and I was like, all right. So 3 hours in, I really like this game. I don't get why people were all abuzz about it, why people on the internet are so crazy about it. And then what happens is, you see a complete shift of attitude. People had been campaigning for me to play Armored Core 6. They said they absolutely wanted me to play it, that it's a FromSoft game I cannot miss, right? But now that I played it for 3 hours and I've enjoyed it, no one cares. Why? Because the people who primarily, not everyone, this is a generalization, so understand this is not every person, but a lot of people who were campaigning to see me play Armored Core 6 were my hate watchers, okay? These are people who only watch my content because they like to see me fail and suffer. They're shitheads, okay? There is some enjoyment in watching someone fail. I'll totally admit that. But if your entire focus on the internet is someone failing, trying to laugh at someone else's misfortunes, you are a fucked up human, and you really should reassess yourself with a professional help. But that's how some of these people are. There's a large group of thousands of people on the internet who this is what they focus on. So because I played Armored Core 6 on Friday and I actually enjoyed it rather than raged at it and failed at it, they didn't like that at all. So the whole narrative changes. Instead of Darkside Phil must keep playing Armored Core 6 because he's going to fail and rage, it's, oh, well, fuck that then, you know, forget it, right? No views on the videos, no talk about it, nothing, right? Now, what ended up happening was after I talked about that on my podcast the other day, there was a group of people who were not like that, all right? And they actually genuinely did want to see me play the game and enjoy it because it's a new franchise that I've never touched before. There's been many of these long-standing franchises that I've never experienced, and this is just an example of one of them. And now seeing me actually get hands-on experience with the game over the course of the weekend, people started to say, oh, this is kind of interesting. I actually want to see Phil continue because he's actually seeming to like it now. So what ended up happening was, even though the hate watchers were so butthurt that I liked the game, a few other people actually started to enjoy the content, okay? And so yesterday, my second session ever, all right, as I played it, all right, I tried a new build. I was trying the tetrapod build, which is the 4-legged build where you can hover. Dude, it's so good. The hovering makes the game so different, but also so much better. The hovering and strafing gunplay, and then being able to just dodge in the air, makes so many things not as dangerous. You know, area of effect attacks, they don't really affect you because they have to hit you directly. They can't just hit you with splash damage when you're in the air. Just right there, it's making the game tremendously, you know, easier to manage. But in addition to that, you know, me learning new strategies and things, we did the arena fights and unlocked a bunch of upgrades, like the ability to heal more and get an actual shield that reduces damage. And then we got to the point of the game where I had heard from what you guys had told me and what the internet was abuzz about, all right? The point in the game that everyone was calling the skill check. This was the point of the game where supposedly a lot of gamers and streamers had quit the game on this boss. Now, I don't know. I'm not watching other gamers and streamers. You know me. I'm just playing my own thing. This is what people are telling me. This is what people all over social media are saying. That this was the big skill check for the game. And if you get past this point, you're pretty much full speed ahead. You're going to enjoy the rest of the game. If this point crushes you and defeats you and makes you rage, you're probably going to hate the rest of the game. And that's why a lot of people just quit it at that point. Okay? So, the point I'm talking about is the Baltius, no H in there, boss fight. This is a boss that when you face it, immediately introduces you to gameplay mechanics that didn't even exist before then. So you would have need to be psychic to know that these gameplay mechanics would have been in there to prepare for it. In addition, this is the first boss that essentially has multiple boss phases in the game, a la classic Soulsborne gameplay. So if you've played Soulsborne games before, you're used to it. However, if you never have, you're probably shocked. What the hell? Why is this boss changing forms and attack patterns in the middle of the fight? It also has some really overpowered attacks, and quite frankly, it seems to be exactly what people are describing it as, all right? It is a wall, and if you can find a way to climb over this wall or break your way through it, you'll probably understand the mechanics enough to do well for the rest of the game. And if you don't, you might as well quit then, okay? So, first of all, admittedly, you know, people on my streams are supportive and they want to see me succeed. And there was one particular person who had given me a little bit of a heads up earlier on in the stream. They said, you're going to want to buy a plasma gun. They didn't tell me why. They said, listen, you're just going to want to buy a plasma gun. And that's all they said. They said, just get one when you can do it. I said, okay, so I had bought it earlier on the stream before I ever got into this boss, not understanding why I needed the plasma gun. Well, without spoiling, it was this boss. This boss has a shield that needs to be downed, and if you don't have a plasma gun, it takes a long time to get the shield down. But then once the shield's down, it has a second shield. Basically, it's the stun shield, the stagger meter, kind of like Sekiro. So it's like, first you have to take down the level 1 shield, then you have to do the stagger shield, then you can finally hurt the thing. So imagine doing all that and not knowing, but if you have the plasma gun can essentially cut through the first shield, so it takes out a lot of the difficulty of the fight. So admittedly, someone helped me ahead of time, not spoiling and explaining that, but basically just saying, get a plasma gun, you'll need it, okay? Now, in addition to that, there were some other gameplay mechanics in the game that had never been explained properly. I'm sorry, they just weren't. For example, there's a lock-on mechanic. I knew that, but I didn't understand that the lock-on mechanic in this game is different from that in Soulsborne games. In Armored Core, when you lock onto an enemy, you permanently lock onto the enemy. If that enemy flies behind you, you stay locked on. The difference is that your aim isn't as accurate when you're on the auto lock-on, okay? When you manually do the more manual lock on, which is essentially don't do the R3 lock on, you'll hit more. But it's more worth it, especially when you're fighting a tough boss. It seems to be more worth it to have the lock on, especially if the boss is very maneuverable, because that boss could be zipping all over the screen, which is exactly what happens with Baltius. There's points where that boss will just decide, I'm just going to zip right by you and go behind you. So now you're trying to find, where did it go? Is it above me? Is it directly behind me? Sometimes you're like spinning around looking for this damn thing, and if you're not fast, he's going to pummel you with missiles. So you need to be on your toes. The lock-on system, never properly explained in the game. Sorry, it just isn't. I don't care what anyone says. I played every tutorial, and it was never explained. Okay? So someone explained to me how that lock-on system worked during the boss fight so I could actually understand it and utilize it properly. Otherwise, I would have been flubbing around not knowing what to do, because once again, it's a case of another FromSoft game that doesn't really explain its mechanics to you. That's par for the course for FromSoft, though. Like, the nuances of the engine need to be discovered on your own because they don't explain anything in any way of a proper fashion. I mean, so some people will just be like, we'll just be used to that. Well, sorry, I still got to call it out. A spade is a spade, and a tutorial that doesn't fully explain all the gameplay mechanics isn't much of a tutorial. It never explained that. So, it is what it is. Thank you to obviously to the viewer who explained that to me, okay? So, essentially, once everything was explained, you need the plasma gun. Use this lock-on mechanic in all of this, okay? I started the Baltius fight with a sword, and after trying a couple times, I was like, nah, it's not really working. Let me try something else. Let me try maybe the grenade launcher. So after now playing for about a half an hour, I learned the Baltius attack patterns and how to dodge them. I learned how to cut through Baltius' shield. And essentially, I learned the best strategy is get the shield down, pummel him with high damage moves to stagger him, then float and hover on top of him with the tetrapod build, and just rain down upon him as much as you can until the shield regenerates. With that strategy, after one downing, I was getting this boss down to less than 50% health. Then it was just about surviving, because the second half of the fight is a little bit tougher. He's got this flame sword you got to dodge and stuff like that. But essentially, the strategy is almost the same, just more attacks to dodge, okay? So, I'm doing this, and basically I'm saying my usual stuff for when I'm playing a game like this that's difficult. I'm saying things like the game is cheating and stuff like that, right? Now, when I say stuff like that, you have to understand, number one, it's in the heat of the moment. It's because I'm full of adrenaline. It's because I'm, tense about fighting a tough boss. Did the game cheat? I mean, no, not necessarily. The game didn't disable all my weapons, and the game didn't fucking, suck my health bar away with one hit, okay? But I will say that whenever I'm playing a FromSoft game, I always feel like every single circumstance is stacked against you, right? Like it's you, the tiny little ant, against a ginormous, monstrous entity trying to take it down. This guy is so fast that he can zip by you at a moment's notice. He doesn't have any tells that he's going to do it. He just does it. Now he's behind you, raining down missiles on you. You're like, wait, where did he even go? And you're not fast enough to really react to that. You just got to kind of flub it and hope that you can get out of the way in time or find him really quick. There were situations where he would hit me with the sword, and I couldn't avoid it because I was already out of stamina. And then he'll continuously hit you with the sword. Like, boom, 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 dead. Like, oh my God. Well, I couldn't avoid that. So to me, I'm saying stuff like, listen, there's an RNG factor. Sometimes you're going to get lucky, and you're going to be able to maneuver more, and you're not going to run out of your stamina. You're going to down him and everything. And there's going to be times when he's just going to do the maneuver move. He's going to zip by you 10 times, and now you can't even down him once. And it's true. When I was fighting this boss, that's exactly what happened. It's this RNG factor in a FromSoft game. An enemy will determine to just do one of its random attacks at any given moment. And then, based on that, you either get lucky or you don't. I remember when I beat him, basically what I did, someone had given me some more advice and said, you should go back to the sword. I know you tried it at first, it wasn't working, but now you know the boss's patterns. You know how to down him. You should try the sword now. So I tried, and lo and behold, the sword recharged like 4 times faster than the grenade launcher. So I was basically pummeling him to get the shield down, slashing him with the sword, pummeling him, slashing, pummeling, slashing, and he just got melted. And I was like, wow. So I actually, I went from getting my ass handed to me to almost like styling on this guy, right? So after I finally beat him, I was like, okay, so I beat the skill check, right? And I made a joke. Here I am wearing a Bender hat and a freaking platinum vest because people have been very supportive during the stream. And I make a joke. I said, so all those content creators and all those streamers that quit, guess what? I just beat that boss with a Bender outfit on. You suck. And it's a joke. It's not meant to be serious. It's me just razzing people and being stupid, right? So I do that, and then we move on. And we played for about another hour. I did more arena fights. And then lastly on the stream, there was a whole other stage I beat, which was pretty challenging because I was trying these new miniguns, which I like. But, dude, they ran out of freaking ammo. So here I am trying to beat the stage with my fists, right? And then I finally got to the boss, luckily. And the boss was challenging and interesting and unique. And I beat the boss. Like, okay, great session, right? So at the end of the session, admittedly, I was a bit quizzically confused. And I was kind of scratching my head. Why is it that people quit at Baltia's? What about that boss particularly made people rage so badly that these people wanted to quit the game and didn't want to play it again? The thing that really made me puzzled is that you know that Armored Core 6 is a FromSoft game. Everyone last year played Elden Ring. Even people who had never touched a FromSoft game before had played Elden Ring. So you know what you're in for. These FromSoft games have been around now for over a decade. Remember, Dark Souls 1 was 2011. So you're talking 12-year legacy of these games being out and being mainstream, and people know what they are. So it gets to me how confusing it is that people would have quit this game. All right? So last night, after trying to figure this out, I posted up on Twitter or X or whatever the fuck you want to call it, and I also posted up on my main channel page of my channel an honest question that I would like feedback on. And the question was, why? Oh, actually, I should just read it word for word. No, I'm going to read it word for word so that way there's no one can say, oh, that's not what you said or whatever. Okay, hold on. I'm going to read it word for word, the post. Ready? Here it is. Why did so many people rage quit Armored Core 6 at Baltius? And why are people saying the game is way hard? I legitimately don't get it. I would appreciate some feedback to talk about on Wednesday's podcast. Thanks. That's it. All right? There's nothing there that's gloating. There's nothing there that's saying, ha ha, I dominated the game and you didn't. All right? It's just me genuinely asking the question, why do you guys think that people say the game is so hard and that this boss is the rage quitting point? Because for me, being around the block, having played every major FromSoft game since Dark Souls, actually since Demon's Souls at this point, I've definitely faced way harder challenges. I would argue that the Great Ape or the double Great Apes in Sekiro were way tougher than this. I would argue that many other bosses in general in FromSoft games have been giant walls of difficulty for me, and this just wasn't it for me, So, what are we talking about? What's really going on here? All right? And so, I had open replies on my my post on X, and I wanted to see what people had to say. So I got a variety of responses. Of course, first of all, I get some of the most ridiculously stupid, over-the-top, dumb-ass responses that you would ever get whenever you have open, responses. You're going to get your hater base responding. Someone literally said this. I'm not shitting you. Oh, did you leave your responses open on this post for clout? Did I leave open responses on a random post on the X app to gain clout? Because we all know that when Darkside Phil has an open response post on the X app, it's mainstream news. Did you know that this morning, Kotaku, IGN, and GameSpot all had front page articles about how Darkside Phil has an open post on fucking Twitter? I mean, wow. Yeah, that's exactly why I did it. Or maybe I wanted some responses so I could talk about it today. Anyway. Now I'm clicking the wrong thing. Anyway. Of course, you get people who actually have a point, but because they're just so used to everything they're saying towards me being hateful and negative, they have to say it in a very insulting way. So what I had to do is I had to kind of sift through a lot of shit to get to the point. I think people actually had a point, but the problem is no one on the internet knows how to say anything like an intelligent human, okay? So here's essentially the point that a lot of people made, and I will actually intelligently respond to it. So you're an interactive streamer, right? I am. You're absolutely correct. I am. When you're playing a game like Armored Core 6, a lot of people in your chat are telling you about the game. And so, as you're fighting this boss, you're getting some advice, you're getting some, tips that other people don't get. A lot of streamers who are hardcore into the FromSoft games outright tell their audiences, I'm not allowing any advice or spoilers unless I ask for it. So seriously, unless I say something to you and say, I need help, they don't allow their audience to try to spoil or help. And if they do, they actually have their moderators ban them outright from the chat. Okay? I think that's a little harsh. Someone trying to help you. It's a difference between a major story spoiler that's ruining the entirety of the game or someone just saying, hey, try this weapon. It's a little different, I think. But hey, some people, I guess, are that harsh where they literally just want everything to be earned, like legit get good mentality kind of a deal. I would think those are the kind of people who, like, Armored Core 6 was a giant game for them. Like, they love FromSoft, and they love it so much they don't want anything to be soiled or spoiled for them. So to them, having that kind of feedback is a negative, and they just don't allow it. For me, let's be honest here. Number one, I wasn't even going to play Armored Core 6. I told you guys I never played a Met Combat game before. I was going to skip it entirely. All right? I'm only playing it because someone actually donated it to see if I would like it. Number two, this is a game that isn't even really fitting into my schedule at this point. As we all know, the major releases for September for me will be Starfield, continuing with Street Fighter 6, Lies of P, and Mortal Kombat 1. Maybe Sea of Stars in there somewhere, and then maybe something at the end of the month, but that's essentially what I'm focusing on. Everyone knows that. If I play this game longer, all right, basically, we'll see what happens, all right, but, it wasn't really a big investment for me. So, since this is a game that, obviously, I'm kind of testing the waters to see if you'll like it, if I'll like it, it kind of makes sense to not have me stuck on a boss for 17 hours, and if someone's offering a little bit of advice on the boss, I'm not going to say, oh, ban you for doing that. In fact, that person who had said use the plasma or buy a plasma gun essentially was giving me a huge tip on how to face this boss. Now, I didn't know that at first. I didn't have the plasma gun at first when I fought him, but I did adjust the plasma gun on the fly, tried it, and I was like, wow, this is working really well. I'm glad that I got that piece of advice. The lock-on advice, that was huge. Without that, I wouldn't have been able to even follow the boss and see where it had gone on the screen. I would have been flubbing about. So yeah, there was definitely some key pieces of advice. Absolutely. That helped out. That's called being an interactive streamer. But you know what? There's a fair point there. Not everyone's an interactive streamer, right? Some streamers want no advice, and a lot of people who maybe are sitting around playing this game for themselves aren't getting that help. So maybe that's what it is. And then I started to think, see, and this is what I mean. That feedback is actually very valid feedback, and I like it. But sadly, a lot of people just couldn't say that in a nice way and say, Phil, the reason you're maybe not hating on the game as much as others is because you had some people help you with it. But in reality, it's really hard to fight that boss without that help first. But instead of people saying it nicely like that, literally no one said that. It was, oh, because you're a piece of shit and you suck at games, so your handheld stream chat has to do this. Real fuck faces. Real people who just don't know how to speak to someone. That if they said that to someone's face in person, they get slapped in real life by someone because they're so disrespectful. But they think it's fair game because you could just say it to someone on the internet and get away with it. It's fucked up antisocial idiots. That's the kind of responses that I get. But that doesn't invalidate their points. The points they're making, I feel, actually are valid. Yeah, if I didn't have that plasma gun, if I hadn't bought it before this boss would have been way worse. If I hadn't known about the lock-on, this boss would have been way worse. I have to agree with these points, okay? So, fair enough, valid points. However, I will say this, and this is what a lot of people don't realize. Tons of streamers out there are just like me, and I hate to tell you this, way worse when it comes to having people hold their hands. There's streamers out there that literally the way that they play games is just as a social thing with their audience. This is all they do. If they're going to play a game, they're just going to have their audience tell them what to do entirely. I've seen streamers, literally, it's like they're not even playing the game. It's their audience is playing the game for them, okay? It's valid content creation because these people are popular and they make a living doing it. All right? Not everyone is a get good kind of streamer, but here's the thing. I hate to say it, a toxic fan base of hate watchers. Yes, it's a fan base, but it's a fan base of hate watchers. Okay? So again, to them, if I'm not struggling in something, and if I'm actually succeeding, it's not entertaining. So God forbid I'm having a good time with my audience. We're having positive conversation. I'm enjoying the game. They see that there's some hard stuff coming up, and they toss me a little bit of a bone. So that way when I fight this boss, it's an hour to an hour and a half instead of 7 hours, right? What was more enjoyable yesterday? Seeing me struggle a little bit on the boss, learn slowly, get the pattern, switch back to the sword, and beat him in epic fashion? Or see me play that boss for 3 streams and be very upset and not enjoy the game? What would have been the better option? I think anyone who's not a toxic, hate-watching asshole would say option 1 is the best option. But that's the problem. These idiots follow me around and just don't understand that's not who I am. Don't care about you. If all you hate watchers disappeared tomorrow, I would do better off. You like to justify your existence as if somehow you're the reason I still have any popularity. You couldn't be further from the truth. If you fuckfaces went away tomorrow, I could actually be here having fun with my audience and not have toxic stuff thrown at me constantly, and I'd actually for once be able to thrive. I'd have positivity instead of negativity. You're the reason I'm held down, not the reason I still exist. So the moment the hate watchers go away, it's like paradise. But the problem is, they're never going to go away, and we know that. I've been doing this now for long enough to realize this scumbag group will never stop being a black cloud over my head. All right? But you have to understand something. That doesn't invalidate the fact that I had fun and my viewers are having fun with this game. Just because I'm not playing the game in line with these super duper try hard ultra get good streamers, the ones who are the FromSoft aficionados who absolutely need to prove the size of their e-penises by playing this game with zero help and really just going crazy hardcore into it and earning it all for themselves. I don't care. I'm not playing Armored Core 6 for that. I never was. I wasn't even going to play the game at all. You understand? That's not who I am. That's not what this was going to be. So, fuck off. Nobody cares about your opinion besides you and your hate watching circle grouping Jew. Circle grouping. That's what I just said. Circle grouping. That's right. Seriously. So, it's just simple. I like the game, and maybe I like it more than others because I'm actually having a positive experience with it, because we're having a great stream of it, because people are actually being nice. Yeah. Now, I'm not saying every single time that I face a boss, I want people to immediately throw all the solutions at me. And that's not even what happened with this boss, right? I had a legit amount of time to try to learn stuff, and then people started giving me advice and things based on the things I wasn't doing. It worked out pretty well, I feel. I would say a boss like that, that's supposed to be a skill check, took about an hour, 15 minutes for me to beat. That's fair. In any FromSoft game, you're going to have those kind of skill check walls, and that's perfectly fine, right? So I'm happy with the way it went. I really enjoyed that segment. And when I'm asking for feedback, I actually got legit feedback. Sadly, the feedback had to be completely laden with disgusting negative insults and all kinds of fucked up stuff, but at least I got my feedback. So if you play this game as a try hard, get good, no help, no social experience, I just want to fucking play and prove the size of my e-dick kind of experience, the game's really hard. Okay. Fair enough. I get it. Because if I didn't have that plasma gun or whatever, I probably would have had a lot more trouble with this boss. I kind of get it. But at the same time, when you're playing a FromSoft game, aren't you used to that by now? Aren't you used to that's what you're getting into? I mean, maybe what it is maybe Elden Ring had too much of a crutch, right? Maybe with Elden Ring, with the Ash summons or whatever, so many people got used to the game allowing them to pass stuff by summoning. You don't do that in this game. And wait, I have to do it by myself? Oh, fuck. I can't do it. Maybe that's what it is, all right? Someone else actually had a really interesting take, and I really like this one, all right? Listen to this. The bosses, which the game is built around, are individually built to hard counter certain build types. If people come into this like a Souls game where you can just set up your build and find a way to play the entire game with just that build, they will hit a wall at some point. And I actually will agree with you there. In fact, I think that's why the game was set up with the fact that there's checkpoints, and that whenever you reach a boss, if you die on that boss, okay, you can rebuild your mech right at that checkpoint. That's why the person had recommended, hey, just buy a plasma gun. So that way if you get to the point of the game where you need it, you have it, right? So that's tremendous. That's an interesting gameplay mechanic. Instead of it just being, well, here's your build, get to the boss, steamroll the game because your build is overpowered. Instead, it's, well, Try this build. Did it work? No. All right, try another build. Did it work? No. And this game should be commended because the checkpoints so far have been absolutely outstanding. And the ability to build your mech or rebuild your mech right before the boss is a great idea. So I really, I'm looking at this game and I'm really strongly trying to look for like things to criticize. And I'm like, what can I honestly criticize about the game? Well, the environments are pretty empty. They don't look real. They look like they're video game stages set up from the PS2 era. That's true. That's a valid criticism. Okay? The story. There's not much to it. It's just a bunch of comms chatter. That's not necessarily much of a story for a modern game, right? So, yeah, I will criticize a few different things about the game. But are those things that are like game breakers? No. If you're in it for challenge, if you're in it for great, fast-paced, responsive mech combat, customizability of these mechs, insane amounts of loadouts and variety in the way that the mechs maneuver and or play, I think this game is great, But again, I went into it with zero knowledge of mech games, and now after playing 6 hours, I really like it. I'm actually very much looking forward to more of what the game will throw at me. So far, we've had invisible mechs, we've had super armor mech, we have all these things going on. I wonder what more there can be. I'm sure they're going to come up with more creative stuff the further into the game we get. So, I like it. Now, as I continue to play the game, I will continue to have an interactive audience because I'm an interactive streamer. That's the deal. And if people don't like that, they have the right to choose and say, listen, I don't like it that you're an interactive streamer and that people are maybe tossing you some advice, so I'm out of here. Okay, fair enough. That's fair. Go ahead. If you're out to only find someone who's literally only playing the game out for themselves, as if they were playing in an isolation booth in their room by themselves, no interaction, no advice, nothing whatsoever, and they just want to earn every single thing possible for themselves playing the game, there's streamers out there like that. They're known as kind of the FromSoft streamers. They have notoriety for being great at these games. I don't. So why are you holding those kind of judgments against me? Why would anyone ever come to a Dark Side Phil stream expecting that DSP or DSPGaming is going to be playing at the same level as one of those players? Are you fucking stupid? The answer is yes. If you actually have those expectations, you're a moron. And the only reason you don't like the stream is because you came into it with preconceived notions that are completely erroneous. I've been a interactive live streamer since 2017. I literally have just started to say to you guys recently, I'm 41 years old. I'm getting to the point in my life where I'm realizing that what I want to stream and play are games that I'm going to enjoy. And I don't want to waste time with stuff that I know is something I don't like. Whether it's a bad game or a game that's a style that I just not, really enjoying or finding a way to like or make good content out of. There's plenty of valid games out there that are very enjoyable that I just don't enjoy. Or I just can't make enjoyable content out of. And that's fine. But I'm not going to waste my streaming time, the limited time I have with you guys every day, playing stuff that doesn't work for me. You understand? Playing a game like this and saying, everyone just shut up, zip your lips, no one ever give me any advice on it whatsoever, is ridiculous. I'm an interactive streamer for 6 years. This didn't change yesterday. It's been 6 years. Are you aware of this yet? Or have you just sat there with your fingers in your ear, which is what you do? Because you sit there with your little hate-watching group with like a bunch of fucking morons, and you just talk to each other instead of looking at reality. Here's reality. For 6 years, I've been an interactive streamer with support, with help in the games I play. I'm successful at it. I run a whole business doing it. People love the content so much, they support it, and I curate content specifically for that audience, as big or as small as it is. I don't need fucking hate watchers to come by and make demands on my playthroughs. So if you don't like the way I'm playing Armored Core 6, fuck off and don't come back, because I don't need you here. I have plenty of positive people who like to come and watch my content. Do you understand? So, after getting this feedback on Armored Core 6, I guess I kind of get it, all right? And here's the thing. Knowing that this was a FromSoft game, I think maybe that's another major reason why I kind of know what it is and what to expect, and that there will be difficulty checks and things going on in the game, right? That will hold me up. But as long as I push forward positively, I don't give up, and I persevere, and yes, every once in a while, I get a little bit of advice from my viewers, I think that this will be a fine playthrough, okay? So I get it. It's not that Baltius was a complete world-ending difficult boss. It's that this was the point of the game where you needed to have some knowledge in order to really tackle the boss. You couldn't steamroll the boss with your particular build that you built up and loved. You had to have something to negate the plasma. You had to know what was going to stagger that boss fast. You definitely need to be able to follow the boss around quickly because he zooms all over the screen. Now I get it, okay? So I'm okay with that. And now I'm glad I got the feedback I did. It's just a shame that people can't speak respectfully to others on the internet about it. Because the thing is, remember, respect begets respect. If people were respectful to me, I'd be respectful back to them. That person who left that very intelligent comment about not being able to steamroll with one build, thank you so much. That was a really nice comment, and it actually completely explained the situation, and I get it. But to everyone who had to say something nasty and disgusting, fuck off, you're a bunch of losers. So there you go. All right, so that's what I think so far. Armored Core 6, I really like it. The more I play it, the more I like. The more builds we're trying and more things we're doing. It's just a good game. Story's lacking, and environments are not that good. But outside of that, I like the combat, and that's what the game is based on. I like the challenge, and I like the interactivity we're having during it. Had a great time with it yesterday, okay? Now, I do want to say, yesterday was a very supportive stream of Armored Core 6. I know they're not going to all be like that, but I really appreciate those of you who did support yesterday's stream. That was really nice of you. Thank you for that, okay? Fair enough. All right, so that's that topic. Let's talk about the schedule. Let's then move into game news because I want to talk about this PSN pricing thing that everyone's a buzz about, and then we'll do some shout outs and the like. Okay, so first things first, the schedule today. End game of Grand Theft Auto 5, the anniversary run. We are in the home stretch now. We've got about 10 or 11 story missions left, and there will be like 1 or 2 major side quests that will probably pop up near the end of the game here that we'll be checking out, and that's it. So we're very much near the end now. And if there's anything else meaningful that maybe I skipped you guys would like to see, especially something maybe I didn't do in my first run, now would be the time to speak up. It's looking like between today and probably one more late night stream coming up probably this Sunday night, I will probably complete Grand Theft Auto 5. Okay? So it's definitely the last hurrah for the game. And for those who've enjoyed this playthrough over the summer, thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for the engagement, because originally this was actually the most watched and engaged playthrough I had done in a while. Today essentially will be the last major stream of it. Be a great time if you wanted to support the playthrough in some way, because it's my last day of the month as well. Just throwing that out there. Okay? All right. On the late stream tonight, 6:45 p.m. Pacific time, it is Street Fighter 6 ranked matches with E-Honda. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I'm a little bit apprehensive about tonight. All right? Last time around when I tried to do this, man, it was rough going. At this point, at this level with E-Honda, almost everyone I face basically knows how to stop E-Honda. You understand? Like, they've learned the basic. They never get thrown. They always know how to neutral jump out of everything for a giant punish combo. And then they lock you in the corner, and Honda just doesn't have the options to get out. To give you some perspective here, last night, I was watching the top-ranked E-Honda in the world. His name is Storm Kubo, okay? This guy is really good. He did the craziest shit, all right? He was in the corner against a Kimberly. The Kimberly was coming at him. He counter-hits the Kimberly. He somehow does a juggle. I've never even seen this juggle before. He juggles her with a side switch with Honda. How he even... I was rewatching. I was like, what the... He side switched her in the middle of the combo to push her into the corner. How did he even do? I didn't even know you could do that. And I was like, there's no way I'm even going to try to learn that yet. Like, that's like crazy advanced shit. But it blew my mind when I saw it. He's using these crazy hit confirms. He does overhead, and he times the overhead perfectly into a low jab. And if the jab hits, he drive rush hit confirms into a low medium punch into a full combo. And I was like, that's got to be like big practice to get that timing. I'll try it tonight. I doubt I'm going to hit it once, you know. He essentially knows the ideal thing to do in every situation. The one thing that all the top Hondas do that I don't is use the 100 hands. Whenever they get a chance, they do that sumo spirit. And then whenever they get a combo, rather than finishing it with the standard lift and then butt splash, they all do the 100 hands, which then results in a juggle, into a headbutt, and then sometimes you can cancel it into super. So it's all a lot more damage if you have the Sumo Spirit charge. So that's something I'm going to have to get used to. Whenever I get a hard grounding of my enemy, I got to use Sumo Spirit and remember that I have it charged to use it in a combo, okay? Outside of that, though, I'll be honest, watching Storm Kubo, the best Honda right now in the world, that character gets shut down by the top tiers. You know, he gets in the corner and against a Ken, and he can't do anything. He just gets bodied by the mix-up throw. It was sad. I was watching him play Daigo. Now, Daigo is pretty much exclusively a Ken player, okay? On the matches where Storm Kubo beats Daigo, he is literally working his fucking ass off. He is looking for the little opening, the little hit here or there. He's trying to bait a move so he can counter hit it. And the thing is, when Storm Kubo hits Daigo, it's usually a hit, like he got him in the headbutt. So the headbutt's a counter hit, and it does about a big chunk of damage, and it knocks Ken back to the corner, but it knocks him away from Honda. So even though Honda got a hit in, he didn't necessarily get to capitalize. Every single time that Daigo touches Storm Kubo, it results in a giant combo. It doesn't even matter if it's a jab mash, if it's a standing fierce, if it's a low medium kick. It doesn't matter what normal it is. It doesn't matter where on the screen it is. Every single time Daigo hits Storm Kubo's Honda, it results in like a 40% damage combo. If you don't tell me that Ken is top tier or overpowered in this game, you're just a fucking idiot. I mean, that character is just, every time I hit you, I get rewarded like I was some fucking amazing counter hit. It's not. You're just fishing for hits. You get one random hit, you get a giant reward. It's ridiculous. So that's the thing. Honda gets his hit. He gets a tiny bit of damage. Okay, now I got to try to get back to an advantageous position because I knocked you away with my headbutt. Ken gets a hit, ginormous damage, and now you're in an advantageous position to keep going with your attacks. It's ridiculous. So, you know, I watched this set, and Storm Kubo did his best, but he could not hang with Daigo's Ken, and it was nothing to do with being outplayed. I'm telling you right now, it was the character build that beat Storm Kubo. He's trying so hard, it's like, you can't win. That Ken is fucking bullshit. And that's the thing. I feel like that you're getting the top level play, people are just doing pattern Ken, everything's safe, you're fucked. You have to guess to get a hit in, and that's not good. So that's why I'm dreading playing with Honda tonight, because everyone who I'm playing against now in these higher diamond ranks are all picking top tiers, you're playing a pattern. And the pattern works online. You can't react when they have an opening. You try and the move doesn't come out or it's delayed. And you get that one hit in. Wow, I got my one hit for like 20% damage. Now I got to wait for an opening while they just rush me down for the next 25 seconds, right? It's pretty annoying. Also, by the way, fireballs completely shut out Honda. There was one fight, I shit you not, Storm Kubo parried like 30 straight fireballs from Daigo. And Daigo was like, I don't care, I'll just keep throwing fireballs. You can't ever reach me. So he did. And I was like, so these are the top players. Just showing everything I've said. Sadly, in this game, certain characters just can't get around fireballs, and Honda's one of them. Even if he walks forward, he parries every fireball, he still doesn't have advantage. He's still at a disadvantage. He can never get in on Ken. So it's just kind of sad. I don't know. I feel like playing with Honda, I'll keep grinding away, which is what I'm going to have to do. But I don't think I'm going to do as well with Honda tonight like I did with Blanca 2 nights ago. Where Blanca, I had like an 80-something% win rate. I was getting crazy win streaks. I was doing real. I don't think that Honda's that good. There's a couple strategies I'll use. For example, standing medium punch is just super good. So even just touching it mid-screen and getting a counter hit or a trade is good. All right. So I'll go for that a lot. I may go for a few things with see if I can get overhead into that combo that he had done. And I am going to try, if I remember, I'm going to try to be charging Sumo Spirit so that I can do more extended combos. Not that it's that much more damage, but it's just a little bit more damage here and there. It could definitely pan out. Where it really pans out is the corner. You get them in the corner, you're juggling the shit out of them. They can't get out of the corner. You can combo into level 3 all the time if you have the Sumo Spirit charge. But outside of that, I'm nervous about tonight. I really am. I'm genuinely nervous that I'm going to probably get spanked a lot. And I want to keep leveling and I want to get better at the game. But I don't know if Honda's the character to really do it with. It seems like Honda is just not going to be a top tier character and he can't really hang. So I'll do my best tonight. I'm not promising anything, especially because my shoulder is killing me. I hope that it feels better by then. And I hope that we can, do better together and level him up. He's at 4-star diamond right now. Can I get to 5-star diamond tonight? I don't know. Last time I only gained like 400 ranking points the entire 2 hours. So I guess we'll see how it goes tonight and go from there. Okay? Tomorrow I'm off. No streaming tomorrow. All right? If you happen to watch any of my content, I would hope you can engage with it by liking the videos if you enjoy them and leaving comments about what you see. Even if you simply leave a comment like, I just want to, leave this comment for the engagement on YouTube because I like this video. It's perfect. That would help a lot, okay? When I come back on Friday, indeed, it is the premiere of Starfield on the first stream. I'm very excited to see what Starfield will be. Keep in mind, this will be my major game focus for the next couple of weeks at least. So, by the way, the layout also will be different. I'll be redesigning the layout for the month of September. So it'll be a completely different configuration here than what you've seen previous. And, we'll have a fun time exploring Starfield on that first premiere stream. I anticipate we'll probably have a lot of people coming to the stream to check out this game for the very first time. So we'll see how it goes premiere day. Friday night will be Friday Night Fights. Street Fighter again. And probably I'll go back to Blanca, who is at the 4-star diamond level but climbing fast and almost at 5-star diamond. We'll see if we can get him to 5-star diamond and beyond Friday night. Then Saturday will be more Starfield paired with Chrono Trigger on the late stream. Saturday will be DSP versus the Internet, which is my weekly internet clip react show on DSP Reacts. And then Saturday night will be probably the final stream of GTA 5. I'm thinking after today's stream, we probably will just need a little bit more a gameplay to wrap it up, and we could probably do that Sunday night. Monday will probably be Armored Core 6 and Street Fighter. Tuesday will probably be Starfield and Chrono Trigger. And then Wednesday's kind of up in the air. We can either do more Starfield or more Armored Core, depending on what you guys want. And even the night stream, we can do more Street Fighter or whatever. It's kind of up in the air. We'll see what you guys want, okay? So that's roughly the next streaming week, just so you guys know. I don't know if we're going to do any kind of a special event this month. Right now, we've been talking about it coming up in September, what I should do. One idea is a fun retro marathon where maybe I play an entirety of a game like Super Mario Bros. 3, or maybe I do a marathon of like classic Mega Man games or something like that. Another idea might be a long-form react event, like reacting to another documentary or something from like June the King. Or we don't have to do one at all. We could just do all new games this month and not have to worry about any kind of a special event or marathon. I can tell you this. October is going to have the Halloween event. November is going to have the return of the Adpocalypse event. So Adpocalypse 2.0. And then December is going to have the Christmas event. So we're guaranteed to have 3 special events, October, November, December. But we don't have to do one in September. I'll leave it open. Let's talk about it and see exactly what you guys want. And we'll go from there. Okay? All right. So, ladies and gents, that's the schedule. Now, it's time for us to get right into the news. I don't know why I'm saying it like that. So, we have one important gaming news story today. And then we have one not so important gaming news story. Let's do the not so important story first. The not so important story, but it is a story for me. Ladies and gentlemen, I am sorry to report that the Suikoden, or is it Suikoden? I still don't know how to pronounce it. But the collection of Suikoden 1 and 2 HD remakes has been delayed. Originally, the goal was to have this collection release in 2023, but the game developer has come out and sadly said, sorry, it can't be this year. We're doing our best, but we really want these games to be good. We don't want them to just be rushed out ports. That's why we're doing all this new. They really, if you didn't see they are doing a ton of significant improvements, making the games widescreen, remixed music, HD visuals. It's still going to look retro, but it's going to be a big upgrade compared to the original, okay? So, they delayed the collection. For most people, that's not a big deal. For me, it is, because I love those games. I played those games on the PS1. They were super epic RPGs to me. I love both of them, because this is the game where you collect like 108 characters, and there's all these cool, meaningful side quests, and all this fun content. And I was very much looking forward to sharing that with you. And now it's not coming out this year. It is what it is. I would much rather have them delay it and have it be great when it releases. So sorry to hear that the Suikoden 1 and 2 collections are being delayed, but I guess it is what it is, okay? Now, the other big news story that just hit this morning, all right? Sony is increasing the prices of all of its PlayStation Plus subscriptions. But these are not minor price increases, okay? These are majorly huge price increases. Are you ready for this? PlayStation Plus Essential, all right? Which is just being able to play games online and every month getting like 2 or 3 free games. That's it. No other features. That's it. The base internet use, the base online play for Sony games is being increased from $59.99 a year, that's $60 a year, to $79.99 a year. $80. That's a $20 price increase for exactly the same service that you get right now. The PlayStation Plus Extra, all right, is going up to $134.99. Now, was it not $120 before, or was it no? Was it $110? I can't remember what the price point of the Extra was. I've forgotten off the top of my head, and that's my fault because I forgot. But I believe across the board, it's going to be at least a $20 increase, if not more. It was $99.99 for Extra, says My Ruin. Okay, so this is a $35 increase a year, an increase of 1/3, 33% cost increase. And then for PlayStation Plus Premium, it is now $159.99 a year. All right, so isn't that like a $40 increase or something like that? So if you look at these price increases, right? These are large. These are not, okay, $1. These are like, that's significant price increase. I mean, I'm lucky because, as you guys know, I just converted from Xbox to PlayStation 5 when it comes to fighting games. I had been playing the Xbox version of Street Fighter 6 for 2 months, and then in the last month, I shifted over to PS5, and I've been trying to learn how to play on this newer joystick right here, and I've been trying to get my ranks back up to where they were, and they are. I'm almost at Master with both Blanca and Honda again, which is good, okay? But I locked it in. I did the $59.99 for the year. Thank God I did, because these are the prices that are going to affect September 1st. Yes, I just said it. September 1st. So if you don't renew your PlayStation Plus today or tomorrow, you have to pay way more money if you wait 3 days. And they just announced this morning, giving everyone less than 2 days to renew their subscriptions if they want the cheaper prices. Pretty messed up. All right? Now, you might say, well, wait a minute. Well, why did they do that? Well, Sony spends it. Oh, the ongoing cost of inflation and infrastructure and blah, blah, blah. Bullshit. It's bullshit. Their infrastructure is already in place. This system already existed. They're not putting out any extra features or content. If they were saying, we're taking in this additional cost, but now we're adding new features, that would make sense. We need money to finance the features. They're literally giving you nothing extra, but they're charging you extra for it. They feel the market will bear more cost for the same. All Sony is saying is very simple. We want more of your money for nothing. That's literally what they are saying. Yeah. It's fucked up. It's pretty fucked up. I can't justify at all any reason for them to raise the prices whatsoever. There's just no justification for it. So, responses all over the internet are, can't believe they just launched a year ago and now they think they can raise the price by over 1/3 for zero added benefit. Some people are like, they didn't even convince people to become subscribers in the last year because Game Pass is so much better, and now they think that they're going to charge this much more. A lot of people saying, I'm just going to downgrade down to the Essential because the Essential already is too expensive, so I'm definitely not paying extra for the other packages. And I guess it definitely wasn't good timing when they also decided to announce the free PS Essential games for September at the same time. So here they are. You ready? These are the great, amazing games you get for free for being a subscriber to PlayStation Plus. You ready? Saints Row 2022, which we all know was such a great hit, right? Black Desert Travelers Edition, and Generation Zero. Wow! That's what I get for even more money? A game no one played because there's a piece of dog shit and 2 games no one cares about? Great. Sounds great. So anyway, I think you see the point. Sony, I hate to say it, I've been saying it more and more this console gen. It really seems to me that Sony has lost their touch. Here's the problem, all right? And this is what I've seen, is that whenever one of these console companies wins a generation, they then tend to lose their way the next console generation. So, PlayStation 2 absolutely dominates the 2000s, correct? So the next console gen comes around, Xbox 360 comes out, better online stuff, achievements, tons of social features, great voice chat, all these things. Sony's way lagging behind. They've got to try to copy Xbox to catch up, and it takes them the entire console generation to catch up with Xbox 360. But now, because they were behind that gen, the next gen, they're ahead. PS4. Oh my god, it's the best console. Xbox One comes out, it's terrible. It's got stupid Kinect with it. They've lost their way with all their features. So now PS4 is dominant. But what happens is, Sony gets complacent, they get full of themselves, they come out this console gen, and of course they're the market share leader because everyone bought PS5 after the popularity of PS4. Problem being, I really feel like they're lagging behind. Xbox comes out of the gates running with Xbox Game Pass, giving you guys free games on release day as long as you have the subscription-based service. Big games, too. We're not just talking little crappy ones, but really big games. A bunch of good indie games. Great features. I love Game Pass. You guys know that. I got tons of value out of Game Pass over this year. There was entire months this year where I never played a game on Game Pass. But if you actually look at the games I did play, I saved way more money keeping my Game Pass subscription than I would have if I didn't. You see? So, to me, Game Pass is still the best value in gaming, right? Xbox is doing a lot of things right, while Sony is kind of dropping the ball. And I hate to say it, but here's what, I mean, why on earth? Already when I tried PlayStation Plus Premium last year, we tried it for 1 month, correct? And we tried all the games on there. We played some of the retro games. We tried the cloud streaming. We tried everything. Like, it's decent, but is it really worth $120 a month? No. In my opinion, it was not. Only if you were going to constantly be maintaining and playing those retro games that were in there, and only if they were going to maintain that retro games catalog, which they did not. They literally had, here's our games, they added like 2 more, and then they removed games and added nothing new. So why would you be paying $160 a month for zero value unless you're just a Sony fanboy? I really can't even justify a reason to have that high level plan anymore. And now you're telling me across the board you're raising prices $20 to $40 a year, and you're adding no added value to it whatsoever. Now, let's be fair here. All right? Xbox did recently raise their own prices as well on Game Pass for like $3 a month. All right? So if you are a month-to-month subscriber of Xbox, you're also paying a little bit of extra money. But keep in mind, in my opinion, Game Pass is the best gamer value right now. I will not be paying full price for Starfield. I will not be paying a penny for Lies of P. Okay? There's a ton of Game Pass games coming out in the next several months that I won't be paying $1 for. I'll just pay for my Game Pass subscription. What is it, like $18 a month now? Something like that? And I get all those games. What a value, right? So it just doesn't make sense what Sony is doing. How do you think you're going to justify those price increases? And the answer is they're not going to. They don't care. They now feel they're kind of becoming Nintendo in a way, which is a very bad thing. They almost feel like they're immune to any kind of criticism or any kind of valid comparison. To them, they're in charge. They're large and in charge. Oh, Microsoft wants to buy Activision Blizzard, much like we've bought out companies before. They shouldn't be allowed to do that. Let's cause a big hoopla in the industry for 2 years to hold up that process. By the way, we'll just do whatever we want and keep buying companies. No one can stop us, right? What? Again, Nintendo feels like they can do no wrong. Anything we do, we have a rabid fan base of fans who will spend money. I mean, we could crap in a box and paint it gold and sell it for $100, and we call it the Nintendo E-turd. And our fans would buy it because they're that stupid and gullible. That's how Nintendo acts, at least. I don't know if that's actually what they feel. They certainly act like that. You know, that fucking Switch OLED, what a fucking joke and slap in the face that was, and all the Nintendo fanboys still bought it. So, when Nintendo acts like that, and they're proving that this is how you can behave, and people will keep funding that behavior, Sony seems to be following suit. All right, guess what? Increased prices. Well, what are you giving us for that increase in price? Nothing. Nothing. Just deal with it. Or don't play on Sony consoles. Wow. Okay, well, geez. It's kind of a harsh thing, but I mean, it's essentially what they're doing here. They've literally not even tried to convince you to spend the more money. All right. Anyway, guys, that is it for our gaming news segment for today. Be wary. In 2 days, all of your pricing is going to go up if you don't change. Your auto renewals will all auto renew now for more money. Which, by the way, that's another thing I have to say. Okay. Let's say you're someone who subscribed to one of these ongoing subscription services for $60 a month. What legal right does that company have to auto-renew that for more money the next year? Did you agree to the contract for that much money? No, you didn't. You agreed to $59.99 a year. So what makes them think in a year's time they can auto-renew for $79.99? That's actually illegal. Did you know that? It actually is against the law to have an auto-renewing contract. In other countries, they don't even allow them. That's why, like, if you live in other countries, you can't have an auto-renewing subscription here on YouTube. They don't even allow it. You have to manually renew memberships every month on YouTube because they look against it. They think that's fraud, you see? So, essentially, if they auto-bill you, let's say you had a subscription for PS Plus Essential, $59.99, but it auto-renews in September. If they charge you $79.99 and you didn't sign a new contract for it, they broke the law. They can't do that. It's no way, they have no legal right to do that at all. And they do this all the time. They do. It's fucked up. They have to run price changes by you, and they don't. Anyway, it is what it is. These big companies push us around, and I guess we just all gotta accept it, right? Okay. Let's get to shout-outs. We start off today with Polymetal CX30, who did a $10 super chat. So what's your take? I feel Franklin's story is the most lacking of the three of the GTA 5 protagonists. His story centers around Trevor's and Michael's old robbery and how they need to recover from it. No, I would say Franklin's story revolves around him just being a yes man. And what I mean by that, as we've been saying over the course of the game, is that he essentially just doesn't know how to say no to anyone. Whether it's his friends, his family, people he just fucking randomly runs into, okay, who then kind of become his heist buddies or whatever. I mean, hell, we just played the mission, his fucking ex-girlfriend, who is engaged to someone else, who outright told him throughout the entirety of the game, I'm not ever going to be with you ever again, I don't want that life, comes and asks him for a favor, and he immediately does it. That's his plot. His plot is him trying to learn to be his own person rather than the person everyone else bosses around. It's pretty basic of a plot, but at least it's a plot that makes sense, and there is definitely development of that character over the course of the game. I actually think today we're going to see a major point of that. So, there you go. Snow Carl, re-upped their membership for 15 months. Says, hey, Phil, love your new fashion style. Very mature. Thank you. My nose itches. True Wiz became a channel member this morning. That's our first new membership of the day. My goal for today is to try to hit 530 members by the end of the day. What I'm hoping is that will insulate us for my day off. So when I come back on Friday, we still stay over 100, or 500, excuse me. So please consider becoming a member today, or if you were thinking of maybe gifting some memberships to the channel, today would be a great day to do it to help me for month end, but also to keep those numbers up so that when we come back, we're above 500 on Friday. Okay, thanks for that in advance. Okay, on the tip side of things, someone tipped me $1.03. Says, one question for you: let's listen to this. Every streamer is playing the Texas Chainsaw Massacre right now. I come to find out you're not. May I ask why? First of all, I find it very difficult to believe that every single streamer is playing the Texas Chainsaw Massacre right now. That definitely feels like a gross exaggeration. It just may be that there are particularly some popular streamers out there that are playing it. So the first thing I'm going to say to you, and of course I have no evidence of this, but this is going to be based on just common knowledge and experience, they're probably being paid to play the game. If all of a sudden every big streamer just happens to be playing exactly the same game at exactly the same time, it's probably because they were all offered a lucrative contract to stream that game a certain amount of streams to give it paid promotion. It's pretty easy to figure that out, okay? Now, in regards to me and my situation, okay? Number one, I already had set games that I was interested in this month, and I asked people what games they'd be interested in, and people told me they would want to see me play Armored Core 6. Someone even donated it. That's why we're playing it right now. If I hadn't played Armored Core 6, there might have been a chance that I would have checked out the Texas Chainsaw Massacre game. But there's another reason I'm not too excited. It's an asymmetric survival horror game, like Friday the 13th, like Dragon Ball The Breakers, like the Ghostbusters game last year, like the Evil Dead game last year, like, should I keep going? Because there's probably another 10 I can mention. All spawning back to Dead by Daylight, which is still a prominent game, which is still a game that people ask me to play from time to time. In fact, I think every Halloween, is it not, that people say, hey, will you try Dead by Daylight again? Right? And, you know, so there you go. And that's what I'm saying, like, I already have played asymmetric horror games. I like them, by the way. Dead by Daylight, I actually really enjoy. But again, if I'm going to play an asymmetric horror game, I'll probably play the original and best, the one that everyone still talks about and wants me to play. They ask me every year to play it. All right? Now, it just so happens, Texas Chainsaw Massacre is a Game Pass game. Okay? So, I'm already booked with a bunch of stuff. But if time freed up and people wanted to see me at least give it a shot because it's on Game Pass, maybe I would. But I guarantee you, this is one of those games, just like every asymmetric horror game besides Dead by Daylight, this is a game that will have popularity for about a month. And then a bunch of new games will come out, everyone will move on and pretend like the game never existed. That's literally happened with every one of them. Evil Dead, The Breakers, they all just, they die within a month. Because that's what they are. They're flash-in-the-pan memeable games to laugh at for like a day. You watch some big streamer play it, ha ha ha, then you play it once yourself, ha ha ha. And now you're on to play another big game that means a lot more. So, I guarantee you that by the time I would get around to having time to play it, no one's going to care about it anymore. But, you know. It's not a, oh, I'll never play it at all. It's, if there's time, and I guarantee you there probably won't be time. So we'll see what happens. Okay? All right. I received a $1 tip from Snow Carl. I know you love Street Fighter. Do you think streams are too fighting game focused recently? No. Over the summer, there wasn't much else going on besides RPGs. So it was either RPGs or Street Fighter. All right? I played a lot of the RPGs. Everyone complained. I played a lot of Street Fighter. A few people complain. Fighting games are part of my core, who I am as a gamer. They always will be. The fact that this is the first competitive game that I've gotten into in over 10 years, it means something. If you don't like it, that's fine. It's not all I'm doing. I mean, take a look. At this point, I'm only playing it 2-3 times a week and only late night streams. If you think that's too much, well, I can't help you. You know, you probably should watch one of my many, many other streams that aren't fighting games. Okay. I received a $1 tip from Snow Carl. I have a suggestion that I'd love and will create an incentive for me to tip more often. Reinstate a weekly, monthly leaderboard. Read them out every stream, put them in the description of the video. It would create sense of accomplishment and value. What does that even mean? So what you want me to do is actively track the top contributors weekly and monthly so that my haters who already stalk my contributors could more easily figure out who the top contributors are to stalk them online. No. Okay. Good Good. That's what we got for shout outs today. We have a little bit of extra time. So if you guys have any questions you'd like to toss my way here, let's get them going. We got a few more extra minutes before we jump into GTA 5. So, what do you think? Oh, by the way, I have something I've been wanting to bring up in regards to what we literally just mentioned, okay, for a while, and I keep forgetting. And this is the perfect transition. So I have a fan and a viewer, all right, who has some helpful advice. Okay, you ready for this? I'm going to read it word for word. Helpful advice for people who are fans of my content and want to protect themselves online. Okay? I'm just going to read this. Dear Phil, this might be out of left field, but hear me out. As a donating viewer, I've been worrying a little bit about detractors trying to maybe dox and harass me. Recently, I found a way to prevent this kind of harassment. I figured that you could share it with your fans to help keep them safe. Okay? Detractors are using websites like places such as Been Verified or Spokio. I've never even heard of that one, Spokio, to dox viewers. This is not a secret. However, all these websites have a free and easy opt-out page. It took me all of 2 minutes to get taken off of these websites entirely. I don't have to worry that people will maybe find public information like my address or phone number on there now. You can also Google search for something like Been Verified opt-out or Spokio opt-out, and it will bring up links. And basically they gave links. I'm not going to say the links, but it looks like beenverified.com app opt-out search or something, and then Spokio opt-out. So basically, this is how you can get information that essentially is public. You know, your name, your address, and your phone number, all which is probably on the internet publicly somewhere. It stops getting it listed in a central place. You see? So, it says, I'll keep this brief. We all know these people harass your fans. They're trying to hurt you financially, and they're trying to aggrandize themselves in the process. People may have peace of mind to maybe contribute again if they know that they can't have their information easily found. Could be worth spreading around so people don't have to be afraid. So that's all I'm going to say. Now, it's very simple. I don't know that much about it, okay? I don't. So I don't know to what extent, you know, scumbags on the internet could be using to try to maybe they do use those businesses to try to get information about people. Maybe they don't. I really don't know. All right? But in general, if this is true, I would say definitely go opt out. Put your stuff there, say, hey, I don't want you listing my shit, so if you list it, legally I'm telling you not to, and then maybe they won't do it. I don't know. Again, I don't know how it works, right? But I hate to say it, sadly, people just don't understand how unsafe the internet is. They don't. They'll go to places like Facebook, Instagram, you know, TikTok, and they'll start using their real name. They'll start talking about where they live. They'll actually do video of places they've been and places they hang out. They start posting up pictures to their friends and family members. Where they work. That's a big one. Where you work? Why would you post up where you work? I don't know. That's supposed to be private shit. And people just post everything up on the internet. Oh, it's a safe space. No one would ever care about me. No, it's the opposite. When you put all that information on the internet, you're making yourself a target of someone who literally doesn't care about you, but only cares about hurting someone anonymously on the internet and getting away with it. And they actually get a feeling of, like, pleasure by doing that. So the less you have on the internet about your personal information, excuse me, the better, right? Seriously. So do what you can to protect yourself, you know. Well, a lot of people don't realize when you buy a home, that is listed publicly on the internet. I didn't even know that. When I bought this place 9 years ago, I had absolutely no clue that that sale would be public and that people would find that information and have my new address within days. I didn't know that. You know, I don't think no one thinks about that shit until all of a sudden you're made a target, right? So don't make yourself a target. If you have an online account, make sure that that account has absolutely no links to your real life information. Don't use your real name. Don't talk about where you live. Don't put your address and job and all that shit up on it. If you're going to have a YouTube account, you're going to comment on someone's videos and streams, you're going to contribute. Don't have that YouTube account tied to your real life person at all. Have it be a burner account that's just for that purpose and that's it. You understand? So There you go. That's all I have to say is be careful out of what you put out on the internet, because people will use anything they can for malicious purposes. Whether or not you think it even makes sense, it doesn't have to make sense. They'll just do it because they can get away with it. You understand? Okay. So, okay, some quick questions. Will I check out Sea of Stars? I'm interested in it. But obviously now would not be the right time to play it, considering the fact I'm trying to finish up Chrono Trigger. So if I finish Chrono Trigger in the next couple of weeks, and we still have night stream availability and people want it, I would consider Sea of Stars. We'll see what happens with that. At the very least, I would definitely like to play it sometime in the future. B-Boy Cyclone asks, he said, I never watched any of your Bloodborne playthroughs. Should I watch your original or your Redemption run? Well, the original run, admittedly, is rough. I don't even understand the parry mechanic. I'm playing it like it's Dark Souls. It's definitely entertaining, but my God, a lot of that playthrough is like me beating my head against a brick wall to do basic stuff. All right. The second run, I came back years later after I had grown way more of an appreciation for FromSoft games. I learned how to play them better. And not only did I do really well because I was parrying, but I went back and I beat the challenges that had destroyed me in my first runs. The DLC particularly, I ended up really enjoying and mastering to the end. I mean, when I actually beat Kos, the final boss, is it Orphan of Kos or whatever? Like, it was pretty impressive. I was parrying him. I was running under his jumps. I was doing all kinds of shit to beat him. And it was fun, you know? But that's the thing, like, the first run of those games back then was like, I didn't even understand what I was doing because I didn't get the premise of them. And today I do. So now when I play, that's what I mean. Like, I'm playing Armored Core, I kind of go into it knowing what to expect. So I'm not going to sit here and freak out and rage. While back then I did. Like, I guarantee you in that Bloodborne original run, I was probably going crazy over it, right? So I would say they're both good in their own right. That's good to hear, Tito, man. I'm glad you enjoyed Chrono Trigger. I played all of the major Silent Hill games before. Yes, I will play the Part 2 remake. Okay. Lanuli says, looking at your 15-year time-lapse video, it's shocking to see how much your setup changed in just a month. In this last year, all right, alone, my backgrounds changed, my lighting changed, my camera changed, my backlight changed, and my capture device changed. So in 1 year, literally, it's like a whole new stream, right? Admittedly. And I know that until last year, a lot of my quality was shit. I would say my video quality was decent, and everything else was kind of lacking. And then all I need to do is talk with you guys, and, you know, what do you want? Some good, you know, examples. I got feedback. I bought this ring light. You know, I got feedback. I got a new webcam, an updated version of the old one, which is much better. You know, everything's just much better. You know? Cool. So there you go. Lionel just re-upped his membership for 6 months. Is still no power because of the Hurricane Adalia. How are you? I'm doing good. I will say this. I totally, and this is my fault. To all of my viewers down in Florida State, please be safe. I'm hearing you guys are getting hit with one of the strongest storms you've had in many, many years. A lot of people's lives are at stake. Already some people have passed away in car accidents because of the weather. I wish you all the best. Please be safe. I know I do have viewers down there. They talked about living there, and it makes me nervous, obviously, when crazy weather like this happens. This is why I tell you guys, when I was considering moving, I never would have moved to Florida. This is one of the reasons. I could never live in a place where you have this risk of crazy-ass storms. That's why I actively kind of eliminated it from my list. But for those of you that are down there and brave enough, man, please be safe. I wish you all the best. You know, it's horrible. Nothing I could do about it, but at least I can give you well wishes, and I hope that things go well for you. And it's not too much damage. Okay. Well, congrats, Tito Man, on that. I'm glad to hear that. His nephew could be born any day now. Probably exciting, huh? Excuse me. Yes, I've ridden on a water buffalo many thousands of times. Indeed, I have. We don't really get scary weather up here in Washington. We just don't. We don't have tornadoes. We don't have hurricanes. We don't have snowstorms. You know, we have weather. The worst weather we've had is heat. 111-degree heat, which was record high here. Things were melting when we had it 2 years ago. But for the most part, our weather is a moderate climate. We don't get the extremes that other places get. When I lived in Connecticut, we had torrential downpour hurricanes. We had tornadoes. We had snowstorms, ice storms, floods, like everything you could think of. All in 1 year. You can have all of it. Here we get none of that. We get moderate weather most of the time, which is excellent. It's one of the reasons I did move out here and not Florida. Do I have a favorite Bee Gees song? Oh, man. Everyone would say Staying Alive. Excuse me. But they've done many different good songs, right? You know, Evil Woman's a really good one. There's a few different good Bee Gees songs. Swaganito, I talked about that news story like 2 days ago, right here on this podcast, about the guy who basically found a way to steal copies of Starfield and sell them illegally, and now he's in jail. Okay. Yes, tornadoes in Connecticut are serious. My parents had a tornado 1 block away from where they lived. There's a big green area in the middle. Like, there's a bunch of residential houses on 2 sides of this, like, this green park that's in the middle of 2 major roads. And the tornado came barreling through and destroyed everything down that strip. It ripped all the power lines out. They didn't have a power for 3 weeks. They had no fucking power in the house for 3 weeks. Yeah. Pretty insane. Why is the tips goal the same for day and night streams? But why is the tips goal the same for day and night streams even though they're different lengths? Because people don't tip for the length of the stream. No one comes to my stream and says, wow, Phil's streaming for 4 straight hours. Give him a tip. People come and say, wow, Phil's playing a game I really like and he's very entertaining right now. Give him a tip. So it doesn't matter. The fact that I'm streaming is why there's a tips goal. Not the fact that there's a length that we don't gauge. I'm supposed to be making this much an hour. That's not how it works. With crowdfunding, that's not the whole idea. It's not an hourly wage. It's someone sees you doing something they like, and then they decide to contribute to support it. So there you go. Okay, I think it is time for us to end the show. This was the final podcast of August, the final podcast of the summer gaming season. When I come back on Friday, we will officially be in the fall gaming season. Although technically autumn doesn't start until September 21st. Definitely Starfield is the big opening of the floodgates for games for us. So I hope that you will join me this Friday. I want to say one final time, thanks for an awesome anniversary celebration this month. I had an absolute blast. So thanks for reminiscing with me for the last 30 days. Thank you so much for an awesome gaming summer of Street Fighter. This was an awesome summer of focusing on Street Fighter 6, and you guys made that viable for me, and I really appreciate that. Thank you to those who chilled with me during these hot summer months for various parties and events and all kinds of stuff that I did. I really appreciate that, and I will miss it because we're going to be very busy the next few months with all these new releases. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of the end of the summer vibe right now. But it was a great summertime. I really enjoyed showing off every day this picture right here. Very realistic. And I thank you all, no matter how you watched or how you supported. I will be back on Friday for the beginning of the the fall gaming hype. I will see you then. Peace out, my friends. Be safe. Have fun. And I will see you for Starfield.